Hey everybody, welcome back. This is kind of a video that I wasn't expecting to make, but then I had a little reading on the internet that revealed some tricks and tips to me that I had not tried before. I've done them now and it absolutely does work, so I figured I'd share it with you. Cast iron pans. I use them for camping mostly when I'm out on the four-wheel drive trips. The reason I bring them along is they're durable, I don't have to worry about scratching them up, and then go straight in the fire. So if we're cooking on a campfire or whatever, you can chuck these right on the coals or whatever you need to do, and they're fine. So they're really handy for that kind of stuff. The problem is trying to get a decent seasoning onto them so that your eggs don't stick to them. And over the years, I've tried a lot of different techniques, and one way or another, I managed to not discover the correct way to do it until now. So the key really comes down to flaxseed oil. You can get this in health food stores. You can get it on Amazon. You just want to make sure you're getting food grade and very clean. You don't want any other chemicals. So it'd be 100% flaxseed oil and nothing else in there. The reason why the flaxseed oil is important is that it's what they call a drying oil. So like if you use bacon fat, or if you use olive oil, coconut oil, all these other things that people try to season pans with, those oils never totally dry. So this is why a lot of times if you've done cast iron before, you get kind of a sticky texture to it. And of course your food doesn't want to come off it all the time, so you end up using a whole lot of oil or butter or whatever when you cook, just to kind of keep everything floating in there. It's completely unnecessary. With flaxseed oil, it actually dries, and so all oils go through this kind of polymerization process. Big science that I don't really know all the details of, but basically it's what allows it to bond with the pan. And all the oils do that, olive oil, coconut oil, even bacon fat, but since they never truly dry, you'll always have that tacky surface. This is the stuff that they make oil paints out of, and if you've ever touched an oil paint, they're hard. They're not at all wet. So it's the right oil to use for this, and it took me forever to find this out. So now the technique to actually do it, let's get into that. All you're going to need is some paper towels and your flaxseed oil. This is the pan I'm working on. I'm going to post a picture here of this pan before I started seasoning. This is on its third coat, and it's in the picture with this one that's completed a few weeks ago. I do 6 coats on these when they're done. So anyways, this one's had 3 done, so we're going to start number 4. The picture shows you this pan when it was absolutely clean. Before you start, I should kind of mention that up front, before you start any of this, you need to get the thing down to bare metal. That means get yourself some Easy Off or whatever oven cleaner and spray it down, leave it out in the sun, on a piece of plastic or newspapers or whatever you like to use. Wipe it out, and when it is bare gray, just like in the photo, with no dark spots, no leftover food from last time you used it or whatever, make sure it's really, really clean, and then you're going to start doing this process. So first coat's no different than any of the other coats, so you're going to see the same thing I did for the first one I'm going to be doing today. All you got to do is, you're going to get the pan good and oily. You're going to get it all over your hands too, so be prepared to wash up a lot. Once we've done that, top, bottom, handle, everything, we're going to wipe it off with the paper towel, and then it's going to go in the oven. So you only need, for the whole pan, you'll use maybe a tablespoon of this stuff all up. It's expensive oil, so you really don't want to use a lot of it. So what you're going to do is just rub it all over. Get the whole pan really, really nice and wet. It's not going to be this way when it goes in the oven, though. Again, you're not just doing the cooking surface. You want to get every part of the pan. Since you've cleaned it down to bare metal, it will rust if you don't get this done pretty quickly. Any exposure to moisture, even moisture in the air, will start to rust the bare iron. So just a little more oil here. Like I said, I've probably used a tablespoon. Work it into all the little grooves and stuff, because any bare metal can rust. Okay. Okay, so wiping it out, you can't actually wipe it too much. Don't worry, you don't want any pools, you don't want any puddles, you just want it to look like it touched oil a while ago. It doesn't need to, look like it's oiled really right now. You want it to be pretty dry, because the little thin layer that you can't wipe off is what you need. If you put a whole bunch on here, then even with flaxseed oil, you risk having a sticky mess after it goes into the oven. So you can see it's just got a little bit of a shine to it. There's no oil there at all. When this goes in the oven, you're not going to need to put a drip pan under it or anything, because there's no oil on it to drip. Everything's going to bake right onto it. So that's it. Oven goes to 500 degrees if your oven will go that high. If not, put it as high as it'll go. Smoke point on these oils, I don't remember, I think it's like 320 or something. You want to go well above that. Don't worry, it's not going to hit flash point and light off on you or anything at 500 degrees. And you're going to leave it, once you let the oven preheat to 500 degrees, and then put your pan in the oven, you want to have it with cooking surface down. There's really not anything here that's going to pool, but if it did, it would pool worse if it was this way, right? So just flip it over, put it in there, and start your timer. Leave it in there for an hour, and then turn off the heat, and leave it in the oven. It's probably going to, take a couple hours, maybe overnight, and just let it cool naturally. You don't want to cool it fast. So let it take a few hours to come back down until it's safe to touch. You'll pull it out, and you can start all over again with your next coat. 6 coats total will get you a finish like this. Now that I do it like this, they're absolutely perfect. This has become my go-to pan. I heat all kinds of stuff in it now. Absolutely wonderful. So I hope this helped you out. If it did, click like, click subscribe. It really does help. I'm going to continue to try and get some of these videos together at least once a month, hopefully more like every couple of weeks, covering mostly camp stuff and four-wheel drive stuff, but probably a lot of household stuff too, because there's a lot of household stuff to do, and I know I'm learning every time I do it, so maybe it'll help you if I show you how. Anyways, I hope this helps, and I hope you enjoy your cast iron pans and get some good use out of them now that they're done right. So leave a message if there's any questions you have, or if you feel like there's anything I left out. I know I went kind of fast, and take